So, number one on the list is pool. If you guys haven't played billiards or pool, yes, with the cue stick and pool balls. I'm not talking about the pool where you jump into a pool. That's why I said billiards. Let's see here. Very, very fun activity. Very classic. You can play at a bar or at home if you invest in a good pool table. I highly recommend an outdoor pool table that you keep covered up, prevent dust or the heat or cold from affecting, and then an indoor pool table if you have the space and if you like playing pool, because you gotta have a lot of space for those cue sticks, especially if you have friends over. But if it's just you and your sweetheart, yeah, make sure you have enough room and decide between a portable pool table that you can just fold up, put away if you don't have that much space. For those of you dwelling in an apartment or small home, maybe just one floor, yada yada. But let's go ahead and rank the activity itself. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a classic that'll never go away. It's so much fun. You don't have to play all hard and everything. It's definitely going up in S tier. It's such a classic. It's so... It could become very sexy when you show each other how to play pool, if you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, oh my goodness, go read my book or watch my movie or something. Go Google what couples do. Or go watch a movie, okay? A rated R movie or PG-13 even. You'll get the point. It's nothing out of the blue. It's just something very common. It's a very romantic game, if you know what I mean. Lots of pun intended. It's a classic that'll never go away. I mean, if you're trying to look for your potential soulmate and you happen to be in a bar or somewhere, a hotel, somewhere where they have a pool table, it's not always a bar. It could be like a resort or somewhere special when you're on vacation. Yeah, ask to play together. I mean, playing pool is just so much fun. And, you don't have to go chasing the ball, unless it falls off the table, but you're hitting it too hard. It's all about skill, like all of these. Take your time, have fun. It's not a competition. It doesn't matter who wins. I had my soulmate beat me so many times in pool, and I actually like it. I'm like, geez, you are on fire today. And I play really good pool too, but I'm not the absolute best. And neither is she, but oh my goodness, man. The days that she wins, like the majority, and then best out of 3 becomes first 1 to 5, first 1 to 10, and it gets exhausting, believe it or not. Too many games, I don't recommend. S tier, never gets old. Let's move on. Chess. For those of you intelligent people out there, now, for me, my soulmate didn't play chess in the beginning, but after I showed her, now she's a very formidable opponent. And once again, I'm not the best chess player. I can't defeat you in 2 or 3 moves. I think people who can do that should probably seek another hobby. That's a little too much. It's a little too much knowledge there, for people who can beat you in 1 or 2 moves. Not 1 move, but you get the point. For instance, I don't use the variables or numbers on the chessboard. I don't read books on chess. I mean, I don't get that far into it. Okay, some people are so egocentric and egotistical. It's insane. They gotta win at everything. The classic macho loser attitude. Look, it's supposed to be fun. These games are supposed to be fun. So for chess, it's not as exciting as pool. It's not as necessary, but it's a fun activity to stimulate the mind. I'm gonna place that right smack in B tier. It's not necessary. It's a good activity for the brain, and also for your memorizing what each piece does. Sometimes the knight takes a little while to get used to the L shape, backwards, forwards, sideways, all that yada yada. So and by the way, I have to point this out. It's not just chess on a table. The picture that I have here, if you can see it, this is the large version of chess. Have you guys ever played out in your backyard or indoors if you have the space? Large chess. I'm talking about these are big, light plastic chess pieces. So you lay out the board, and just like the movie Harry Potter, I don't know if you've seen the scene where he was actually battling real life-size chess pieces. Boy, is it fun. And they even have glow in the dark, chess pieces if you want to take it outside during nighttime, maybe a barbecue or get together with friends or family. But The big chess pieces, trust me, it's a showstopper. People are like, oh my goodness, I never cared about chess. Now teach me how to play chess. Something about having these huge pieces to move around. Please consider that. It's not just, you just have to know the bare minimum. Back up your pieces, It's really general. You'll learn the pieces in no time if you have fun with it. Number 3 on the list, playing video games, video gaming. Believe it or not, this is not just a male activity. Back then in the 80s and 90s, there weren't many female players now as nowadays. Nowadays, there's like a plethora of female players. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. I mean, there's all types of games, adventure games where you play solo and take turns. There's 2-player games, there's sport games, there's action games like martial art games like Tekken or Street Fighter that are still going strong. It's just a whole variety. There's some cute games where it's like mainly for children, but adults love them. The gameplay, the fun factor. There's so many awesome games out there, and there's so many platforms to play on. Why not? And increases your motor neuron activity. So, but once again, it's a sedentary activity, similar to chess. So I'm gonna put that in B tier because of its benefits. And it's also a very hot thing to see a female play games. Like, whoa, you actually know how to play, because it used to be male dominated for the most part. Just like pool, it's very sexy to see a female pool player. I remember here in Germany, we had a pool player by the name of Black Widow. She would clear the table with all kinds of male participants. I mean, she would just beat all of them. But I don't know where she is nowadays, but so it's really awesome when a female chess player, video game player, pool player. Wow, you got it going, girl. All right, let's proceed with number 4 here. Going to the library. A lot of people don't consider this one. Shame, shame, shame. Such a shame. Now, my book's not going to be in there unless it's an actual store, which it will be in there, either electronically or physical. But besides my book, never thought I'd actually write my own book. But the library is such a peaceful place and lots of learning. You can just, and then, this is the perfect place to get to know your partner, to see what she's interested in or he's interested in, right? A very fantastic choice for a mutual activity. So you can read books together for educational fun or just out of curiosity. Just looking at pictures too. There's a lot of illustrations. There's magazines also. There's newspapers. All types of. There's even media nowadays with computer files and just a lot of. It's not always educational like math and science. Ooh, it's all boring. No, you can study animals. You can study the earth, human anatomy. Locations like that's what we got started when we first met. I got to know her country, she got to know my country and all the countries we've been to. It was a very educational experience. I would say that the library, if you're serious about a long-term relationship, is a fantastic activity. Absolutely. Now you are kind of limited to books, but we'll get right to that with number 5, research online. Online research, way better than any library. I mean, unless you just want to touch the pages and everything. Now, once again, I have an electronic version of my book, and it is sweet because you can take it on your tablet, your iPhone, or your computer, your laptop if you take it with you. I mean, or just want it in digital form, because you probably might lose the book or the dog will eat it or something. So, preferences aside, like I really love doing online research. It's a daily activity for one of my favorite cool down activities. I've learned quite a bit from online research throughout all these years, ever since the 90s, when the internet first started really blowing up around 1995, I believe. I was during the Mavis Beacon days, the gateways, and the floppy disk days during the Commodore 6480. So kind of know what I'm talking about here. I've seen the evolution of online research. Sadly, it used to be about email and pornography for the most part of the 90s, but eventually people started maturing and saying, oh, there's a lot more to this, so plenty to do online. Just focus on being productive and not being a negative, self-destructive troll who doesn't learn anything and smashes the repeat button every day. Don't be part of the losers club online. Stay away from those guys. So online research, absolutely, I recommend in S tier. Why? Because you can learn about how to take care of your health, how to fix things. You can just either YouTube it or Google search it. It has revolutionized the world. You don't have to ask mommy and daddy or your brother or sister if they know. Oh no, maybe the neighbor knows. Maybe this guy knows. Maybe your ancestor knows. I gotta fly all the way to Spain to go see my ancestor to ask him a single question. Or there was no email back then. Let me write them through snail mail. Are you kidding me? When nowadays you can receive messages at a blink of an eye. You know, one of my friends recently, he says, do you have Telegram? I'm like, I already have all these social media. I don't need any more. Just write to me. I don't need all of I don't need one more. It's just too much at this point. You know what I mean? It's just overflowing with way too many forms of communication. All right. So let's go on to number 6, home improvement activities. Oh boy, can you learn quite a bit of how to be Mr. Fix-It, Mr. Handyman. But when a woman does it as well, carefully, because, you know, you're working with saws and drills and hammers, and usually you don't see a female, do handiwork, but yes, they do. And it's a really sexy thing if you know how to do it, women. So learn how to do some basics, help your man out. Don't always leave it up to him or pay a contractor to do things. You can save hundreds and thousands of dollars. I said hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars if you learn how to do it yourself. So this is like a DIY category from home improvement activities. You'll be glad you did. And I would say that this goes right up there with that library category. Why? Because you can get the best bang for your buck if you just learn how to do it yourself. Nowadays, I'm the plumber, I'm the partial carpenter, because that stuff gets dangerous after a while, especially bandsaws. But I will do as much as I can do in the house to save all that money for my soulmate. And if she she actually does some home improvement activities, but, the less dangerous ones, because some of us, I guess we males, we have a bit more courage in that department. It doesn't mean she's weak or anything. It just means, well, wouldn't you want to take care of the dangerous work as a man? You wouldn't want your woman to do that, right? I mean, what if something happens to her, right? I mean, she has smaller hands, smaller arms. You have the longer reach, the bigger hands. It's just a natural thing to do the more dangerous things just to make sure added security, added safety. It's not a big, sexist argument here. It's just consideration. Something she's better at than you might be. And some things you might be better at or a safer choice than she might, right? It's just the nature of it. Like if she can't reach something in the kitchen, well, you're taller than her. So guess who's going to be the candidate to reach what she needs to get? But if she can't have you around 24/7, okay, get a ladder. But ladders can be dangerous. There's falls that happen every year. So let's go ahead and move on. So once again, do it yourself. It's a fun, exciting learning experience that you shouldn't pass up. Okay, so gardening is next on our list as number 7. It's a great learning experience once again. I highly recommend that you plant fruit trees of all seasons. It's worth it. When you finally see these puppies give you fruit, you're like, oh my goodness. I had a pear tree, and the pears would just keep coming and coming, like summer and then into the fall, and like they would just stay there. The insects wouldn't even touch them, and I'm like, wow, I would have this huge pot full of pears from this one tree or bush or whatever you call it. So, I call it a pear tree. It's exciting and well worth the wait and investment. I do recommend buying them in their kind of medium maturation state, not really from a seedling or anything, but if that's all you got, go ahead and try it out. You have to be careful if you live in too cold of a climate. You got to bundle them up. Or too hot of a climate, you got to make sure that they're going to survive. Yada yada, right? With enough water, you know the drill. Enough soil, proper soil. You got to tend to them. It's a garden, right? So I would say gardening is essential because one day, if they pull the plug, the New World Order, and we're left to fend for ourselves and feed ourselves, this is a must. So I'm not going to put it in super because it's not like it's highly enjoyable, but it's a must as far as educational purposes. Right there in A tier. Learn how to garden, learn how to produce your own food. It's highly educational and it could save your life one day if you put in the time to do so. So, well worth the wait in my humble opinion. Okay, number 8 is swimming. Let's put that over here. Now, swimming is different from our Valentine's Day special where I covered the jacuzzi. We're here to do activity, a hobby, right? So let's swim. This is actual swimming, right? Just be careful with excessive amounts of chlorine. Just don't use too much in your pool. If you have a pool or if you go to a pool together. It's just a very joint-friendly exercise to do. You can do a lot of things in the pool, even bodybuilding exercises such as chest flies if you wear the webbed gloves or fins, swimming fins, like they do the scuba divers, right? So swimming is a fantastic hobby, I would say, as a sport, because we're going to start getting into the sports here. But as far as enjoyable for couples, swimming is very erotic. If you guys have worked for the bodies that you should have, okay, you guys should be exercising, minding your physiques, staying strong. Don't let that weight gain happen. So swimming, let's see, it's really enjoyable. You know, bikini time, swimming time could be really fun, but this is tricky. I want to put it in S class, an S tier. You know what? I will put it in S tier. If you have a pool, or if you go to the pool together, as long as you guys are together, don't spend too much time apart, like, oh, I'm swimming in this lane, she's swimming in that lane. Try to spend time together. You know, of course, get your exercise in, but just enjoy the water together, you know? And there's also some extra sporting activities you can do in the water. And just to get away from, you know, once again, stay away from too much chlorine, but just to get away from the land a little bit. Actually, I highly recommend going to the beach and swimming in that water. Not too deep, obviously. Now, that's therapeutic. If I had the beach right here, that would go S tier. But I put swimming because it's more of a sport-based activity. So, water is your friend. Just make sure it's not too chlorinated. That's the best advice I can give. Let's go ahead and move on to table tennis. Now, why table tennis? Well, it's almost like pool. It's very common in recreation centers. You will sweat after a while. I mean, it's kind of annoying, though. I mean, you got to always pick up the ping pong ball. I recommend you bring a handful of ping pong balls with you, though, for that reason. You don't want to have one with you and be like, oh, I scored a point. Let me run all the way across this whole area. Let me get the ball. And, you know, and then, you know, it could be messy. Just make sure where you're playing ping pong is in like a clean environment. Some parks have them, but what if it's a muddy day? You know, with all things considered, a home ping pong table in a dedicated room for just that, where you have pool, ping pong, maybe it flips into a ping pong table and it flips into a pool table. They have those interchangeable sets there. I would say it's just a fun activity, but not for me. So I'm gonna put ping pong in C category, just because you're gonna have to end up constantly picking up the ball, whether you score or you miss. It's just a constant. It's a little bit of a nuisance. The flow gets interrupted. You know, that's why, for example, I don't like watching. Let's see, baseball or golf, because they just take way too long. They stop the clock way too long. I like continuous sports. Basketball is okay, but soccer is the best because the clock keeps ticking. Whereas in football, toss in a red flag here, violation there, gotta stop the clock, and it just takes way too long. Especially like baseball and such. So I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's still fun, but you know, I already explained the rest. Alright, so number 10, basketball. Now, if she's a shorty, like my shawty, she's not going to be able to really toss the ball that hard, you know, that high in the air. So I'm going to say it's a good workout for women, you know, who want to improve their strength, you know, scoring some baskets with a basketball. But for most women, it is a tough thing unless they're tall women. If they got long arms, then it's going to be easier than. But mostly it's male dominated. I mean, not to say that there's no female players, but basketball, it requires a lot of upper body strength, but there are great female players. But typically, for couples, usually it's just for fun, the 2-pointer, the 3-pointer. But I'd say most women just can't make the 3-pointer. It's just too far away. So, but as terms of fun, well, you're always looking up, and the ball, I recommend you bring three or four basketballs with you, because if not, similar to ping pong, you're going to be chasing the ball everywhere. So it's a little bit more demanding. It's still good a physical exercise, and it's strengthening for the upper body. I would say basketball compared to ping pong, it goes above. So I put that right up there with gaming. It's a fun activity to do. Just take your time with it, because you don't want to be like chasing the basketball all day, and have good conversations while you're doing these activities. That's what it's all about. You got to enjoy these things, not be like all competitive, because you're not going to win anything in the end. What did you win? Money, prizes, a medal? Just chill out. Enjoy it. Okay, so number 11 is tennis. Now this is very hard on the joints. You make sure you warm up very well if you're going to play, especially competitively, tennis. But it's fun, if you have the whole court to yourself. You don't have to mind about where your tennis balls are going. Just please make sure you mark your tennis balls. People are very particular about this. I mean, they're going to be like, you're picking up, that's my tennis balls. So, I don't know, buy pink ones if the majority have the fluorescent classic ones like this one. Fluorescent pink ones or fluorescent, I don't know, white tennis balls, whatever it is. Get creative, right? I was going to put racquetball up here, but racquetball is just, I don't know. A lot of women don't like the extreme noise, the echoing inside, and, you got to wear some earmuffs or something. So I chose tennis. It's a lot more peaceful. It's right on the fresh outdoors. It is hard on the joints, so take it easy out there. I would say I'm going to have to put tennis in C tier because, it requires skill. Big rackets. A lot of rackets are just too heavy for women in general, unless you're like a Helga with the strength of 2 men, who gives massages all day. Unless you're in that category of a woman, it's gonna start to weigh on you, especially with the same arm on the same heavy racket. Like you have to have the technique down pat. I'm talking about perfect technique in order to really enjoy tennis. Or if you just want to hit the ball over the net, that's fine. But if you're gonna do that, over the net kind of gets a little boring compared to basketball where you actually score that hoop, But they both require strength. That's why I'm putting them in B and C tier, because women, for the most part, they want something easier. Like swimming, anybody should be able to swim, Or gardening, or, do it yourself, or playing pool. Far less strength required, So women just, in particular, I know there's women who are crazy about these activities. I'm not saying every woman. I'm just saying generally, to have a good time and not have to give so much effort to where you're going to be completely sore the next day. These are just leisure activities, okay? So, let's go ahead and move into something really fun. Badminton. Now, this is a fun activity. It goes great with barbecues. It's a classic, easy-to-play game that helps with posture even, because you always kind of constantly hit the ball, the birdie, right? And it's just been a lot of fun, so fun leisurely activity, not too much effort. But you see that I wish there was a category between A and B tier. That's where this would actually belong, and I'm not going to violate the rules here. Is it an excellent activity? Yes, as far as sports, I'm going to put that's the way I'm going to look at it. It's an excellent sport to play that doesn't require too much strength or running after the ball. Just bring a whole bunch of badmintons with you and you'll be good to go. Like a handful inside your pocket, both of you. Maybe change colors or whatever just because, but to know whose is whose, or it doesn't matter. Just put them all in a bag. It just doesn't matter. It's easy to play. It's lots of fun. And that's why I'm ranking it A. Okay. Number 13 is a similar activity, croquet, or if you call it croquet, it's actually croquet. So it's fun. It's almost like miniature golf, Take your time. Don't take the game so seriously, as I said before. So, you know, I mean, it does require a little bit of heavy equipment, though. When you put all the croquet items together, it's a really heavy bag. It's not extremely heavy, but asking her to carry it, that's kind of mean. Let's see. Croquet. I mean, it's okay, but the chances of you making it into the ring is not so great. You gotta go by hit, and it's not extremely fun. But I'm gonna put that with basketball because of how exotic it is. Yeah, it's a rare classic that kind of died out, but people still play it, especially rich folks. I mean, it doesn't cost that much nowadays, but it used to. All right, soccer is up next. Football. See, where do I put soccer? It's a great backyard activity if you just want to juggle the ball or work on proper technique with mini goals. You can put a couple of mini goals in the backyard if you have one, or go to the park and put some mini goals yourself. Just don't hit the ball too hard so you don't have to go running for it all the time. Just little light taps is enough. She steals the ball from you, you steal the ball from her. It's almost like dancing the what is it called? The oh man, the tango. Dancing the tango. It's all, quick little leg strokes, and poking here and passing there, and just pass the ball around if you don't want to get competitive. That's my point. So soccer will always be forever. As far as a great physical activity, boom, S tier. And that's not because I'm half European. Well, I'm actually full European, technically, even though I'm a dual citizen, U.S. and Spain. But I'm going to put it in S class. Why? Because it's so easy. You can buy even a smaller soccer ball. It doesn't have to be the big official size, World Cup size soccer ball. And you can play with kids, friends. It's just passing the ball. Make sure it's inflated, because not too much, because you don't want to knock each other out by accident. Here's the thing. If you inflate the ball too much, it's going to be too hard. If you inflate it too little, well, it's going to feel like a flat ball, and that's not fun, So just make sure it's inflated just right. You're going to have a lot of fun. As far as a couple's activity, you can't go wrong with the soccer ball. You don't even need soccer cleats to play. You can I've seen people play with sandals or barefoot. Barefoot actually is what the Brasileños, from Brazil. A lot of soccer players play barefoot, just like bodybuilders lift barefoot because they feel a deeper connection and they work on their stance and proper posture. Anyway, so yeah, definitely an S tier activity. Soccer never gets old. Let's go on to volleyball, which is a little similar but played with the arms and the hands. Or fists, depending on how you see. Well, when you're serving it, yeah. I mean, there's different types of serves and spikes. So volleyball, take it easy because this can hurt. But in order to avoid any type of pain, you have to have proper technique. Once again, for women, this could be a little brutal because they can't get the technique down right. Or even men who don't have enough muscle in their forearms. This could also hurt them as well in the long run after so many points I'm talking about. Easy to set up if you have a net, but the professional nets are pretty big, once you unwind them. So either on the beach or in your backyard. I'm going to put this one in... Oh boy, volleyball is just not that... It's just too much space, easy to score. I mean, if it was more like air hockey where it's all tight, closed space, but that's an unjust comparison, but you get the exaggeration point. I'm going to put this along... I want to put it in C tier because the chances of you having a net in the backyard that takes up so much space, especially if you have to mow the yard or whatever, and then you have to take it down constantly, it requires equipment to play volleyball. Now, okay, minus equipment, go ahead and pass the volleyball back and forth, but after a while, I guarantee, unless the ball is super light, you guys are going to have bruised up forearms after a while. And what's the point? You don't even know who's scoring what. But if you're just there to mess around like pass a soccer ball, yeah, but pass a soccer ball, there's no pain at all involved. But, if you're going to have the volleyball to hit, it's just like you got to be in the right place, right time. There's a lot of crouching, a lot of saves you got to do. It's just way too agile, like tennis. And you could actually end up hurting yourself, if you're so desperate to get the ball and dive to the ground to get it, with one arm. And it's just too much of a potential accident to happen. And so let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to leave it in C tier because there's better activities, is what I'm saying. All right, so move on to martial arts. Great for wisdom, fitness, and discipline and personal growth. Doesn't have to be intense. You can have a punching bag, but please wear those gloves, those boxing gloves. Please wear your shin guards if you're new to kicking, right? I mean, I'm a hard kicker from Taekwondo, Muay Thai, and Karate. I can feel the inside of an XXL heavy bag, standing heavy bag. So imagine how hard I'm kicking. So I have to actually wear shin guards to prevent me from hitting that thick plastic core inside the bag itself. And there's a time for heavy hitting, and there's a time for focused training and light tapping. So I highly recommend that you guys stay away from injuring your extremities, whether it's that your legs or your arms, or your hands. From your elbow to your wrists, to your shoulder, to your hips, your knees, your ankles, your back, even if you have bad posture. Martial arts, please get the techniques down right, but in terms of discipline, wisdom, and self-defense, you can't top it off. It beats going to the gun range, firing range, and let me just go shoot a bunch of ammunition and be all badass. And no, this is a lot better because you don't need all that fancy stuff, and everything is affordable if you want equipment. Bam, S tier activity, because especially women, they're not going to act like that damsel in distress because they got their own back. They can defend their own self. They know how to grab a knife and wouldn't think twice if they have to defend themselves. Or like Jackie Chan style, grab a stick, grab a tray, a food or whatever. Or basic throwing techniques, leg techniques, elbow techniques, knee techniques, you name it. It's a must. I recommend all couples practice martial arts. And if you have children, toss them into martial arts. Let them figure out which one they like best. Even if it's Aikido or Jiu-Jitsu or something that, have them start there. But I highly recommend Karate because you turn your fists and feet into weapons. And Muay Thai, you turn your elbows and knees into weapons, even though it's in Karate anyways. All right, so let's move on to number 17. What do we have here? Dancing. Dancing at home or at a club. Disco. A discotheque. Disco. A lot of coordination, carefree experience, slow dancing included. Whether you're a professional ballet dancer or you're just a recreational dancer at home dancing to your own music, it doesn't matter. Dancing is a really, it's a free activity. And, it can really open your mind. It's a type of meditation, active meditation, if you will, if you really feel the music. So if the music moves you and you want to dance, if you can't dance, it's because you got to learn how to just let go. You're too much in the mind. You're living too much upstairs. You just have to feel the music, right? It's kind of like when you do exercise. You just have to get into the what is it called? Oh man, not beast mode. Nowadays they call it beast mode. In the zone. There you go. I was always in the zone. I'm still in the zone. Always stay in the zone. When you get in the zone, you're wearing your headphones or you have your speaker blasting your favorite music in your home gym. Or if you have a gym to go to, just make sure it's not too long of a distance. Otherwise, you're going to quit. Just enjoy the exercise. And also, dancing is an exercise. There's a lot of professional dancers who get magnificent physiques from dancing, both men and women. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a great example. Now that we just talked about martial arts, he did ballet. And that's why he can jump and do the splits in the air repeatedly, nonstop. The dude has amazing endurance. He's worldwide known for his amazing endurance and accurate kicking techniques and everything, but he's one of the few who actually can do that. So let's see, where would I put dancing? Slow dancing and such. Yeah, it's right up there with pool and everything. You don't have to know how to dance, okay? Like the merengue, salsa, or whatever. I mean, as long as you're holding your partner, it's a romantic activity. Especially do some slow dancing, unwind. Don't take yourself so seriously. Alright, so number 18, work as a team to clean your house. This is not just a responsibility, people, okay? I'm saying little spring cleaning. Don't wait for spring. just do it once every season, like a good thorough cleaning job of your outside, your inside. Have some honor for your home, the home that you live in, even if it's just an apartment. Do a really good cleaning, the best you can, because a little each day goes a long way, especially if you work as a team. It can actually turn into an art form when you buy certain equipment that makes it all easier. Sometimes vinegar and baking soda can go a long way. You don't have to spend so much money on dangerous chemical products that you inhale, or get exposed to on your skin. Like Clorox and such. There's ways around. Just educate yourself. I think, it's an activity. It becomes an activity because you need to maintain a clean environment. Imagine if you don't make your bed, it doesn't have to be every morning, but I would strive to do that. Take some pride. Do your laundry on a regular basis. Don't leave, dirty clothes everywhere and everything's unorganized and cluttered, and don't wait for spring to do it. And if you have one partner who's doing it more than the other, that's not fair. You both need to work as a team and maintain chores, right? So chores can actually become a hobby when you learn how to have fun with it. Oh, honey, I got it. It's too easy. Oh, clean the bathrooms? Got it. It's too easy. I got these techniques. I got these tools. Too easy. You can even use a drill and attach brushes to it. Easy peasy. Soap scum goes away, everything. I'm not here to sell you cleaning products. Oh, man. Billy Mays here with OxyClean. So what would I put this? This is essential. Right up there with gardening. Absolutely. My goodness. No question about it. This is why I introduced this into the category. It's a must. It's just like gardening. No, it's not just a hobby. It can save your life one day. Cleaning, have some honor. Take pride in where you live. Keep your place clean. Which brings us, by the way, to your car. Doesn't matter if you have one or two cars. Work on your car. I don't want to see all these McDonald's, cups over here and pizza boxes over there. And the baby's pacifier over here and like stains there. And guys, take care of your car. It's like your second home. It doesn't have to be squeaky clean all the time. Like, hey, take your shoes off before you enter my car. Don't be like that, okay? I'm just saying, be smart. Buy extra mats for your car. Like if you know it's going to be a rainy day and muddy day, don't get all stingy about it. It's just a means of transporting you from point A to point B, all the way to point Z if that's what it takes. But have some pride in taking care of your car. It doesn't have, the inside matters most. Okay? Don't let the outside to get, too dusty or muddy or whatever, because that just looks so horrible. But in the end of the day, Mother Nature comes and goes. You can have it nicely waxed and everything, and then boom. Even if you have a car garage, you're going to have to commute to work, right? If that's the case. It's going to get dirty. Get over it. The point is to minimize how much you have to actually put forth in cleaning your car. So it goes like this as terms of priority. The inside first, just like a relationship, and then the outside is more understandable to take care of. Right? Just like the body, like your physique. You can change it for the better or it can go worse, right? So that's all I got to say. Invest in some upgrades, for crying out loud. Buy some shiny rims for it. Upgrade, make sure everything's up to date, with car maintenance and everything. It's just not a responsibility. This turns into a hobby. Because it's just like cleaning your place. This has to be a must. You need to treat it like a hobby. Something easy to take care of because you're well prepared to take care of the situation. I would say this goes in A tier because it's another must. It's not a responsibility. The more, let me explain. Responsibility simply means your ability to respond to something. That's all it means. So, what more important to respond to than the cleanliness of your home and your car from the inside out? So, responsibility, that's not the right category. This needs to turn into a hobby. Something easy for you to do that you take great pride in. And then when the results show, you feel refreshed. You feel relieved. No anxiety, no worry. No, even if it's taking out the trash and everything, which I'm not going to put up here because that's a responsibility. That's just like a cyclical thing that you have to do. But these are very important responsibilities that should be treated like a hobby. They're musts. Like the last option here. Let's see. Let me get the right reading on this one. Work on organizing all paperwork and future investments. Let's see here. Yeah, your plans, right? Your plans for the future. That's what I have here written down. Number 20, very important. Once again, it's too much of importance to simply name it a responsibility. This is why people are late on their taxes. They they suffer financially because they don't plan ahead. They don't save enough money. They spend too much money. Have all of your receipts, okay? Everything that you purchase in a box. Make it a point to put it in the dang box. A lot of couples, they don't do this. And guess what? Oh, where's the receipt? You could be talking about hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. Something that maybe you need to return or you need to show for your taxes. It doesn't matter. And you can actually get a lot of money back through taxes if you keep the receipts. If you can prove and say, well, this full tank of gas was because I had to go on this business trip, right? You can file a lot of things in with taxes, but a lot of people, they miss out on those on that money that they're supposed to be receiving in return because they're too lazy to account for everything that they do that's either work related or yada yada. So not just for taxes, people, but plan on future investments. Like if you need a new set of stairs to replace them, or something's squeaky, something's breaking, don't wait for things to break, because now you have like a whole mess on your hands. So I'm going to put that right up there with cleaning your house and your car and knowing how to garden, yada yada. I mean, this is just extremely important. I didn't want to miss out on that, besides just filling it up the list with just another sport. All right. So this has been kind of a fun stream, but a rather important one towards the end with the last, not the last three categories. Everything in category A, I believe, is extremely important. Even with research online and S tier, extremely important. Always educate yourself. Don't waste time with silly drama online. Always educate yourself. Always be productive. And when your partner is at the same time, it's just magnificent. You guys are both a powerhouse. So eliminate all forms of negativity, whatever they are. And if you have to defend yourself online, offline, always do so. But make it quick, you know. People are always going to want to tear you down if you're a great couple. That's just the way life goes. Evil is evil, right? So that's all I got for you guys. Please enjoy the rest of your week. There's going to be another show as always. And take care.